The rise of a Latino American hip hop phenom. Now, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, better known to the public as Bad Bunny, is a Puerto Rican hip hop artist that is most recognized for his hit song Diles, which became popular in 2016. Now, Bad Bunny is from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico, and began singing as a child in the Sunday church choir. Bad Bunny grew up in a middle to lower class family in Puerto Rico, as his father was a truck driver and his mother was an English teacher. In his earlier years, he dressed up as a bunny for Easter on multiple occasions, and he chose to stick with this name from the start of his musical career. During his younger years, Bad Bunny grew fond of music and loved the feeling it brought him and wanted to bring others the same feeling about his music. So as a young teen, he worked and saved all his money to buy studio equipment for his computer so he could start recording his music. A couple artists that gave him inspiration were Puerto Rican rapper Daddy Yankee and American Latino rapper Vico C. Now during this time, Bad Bunny would go to school and work and create music on the side during his free time. Now although this was during the 2016 SoundCloud era, where many American rappers jump-started their hip-hop career, Bad Bunny's music wasn't the same as your favorite trap rapper like Lil Uzi Vert or even Playboi Carti. For one, his music was more meaningful, romantic, and even more dancey, and two, he wasn't even singing or rapping in English. During this time, he would freestyle with his friends and consistently upload his music to SoundCloud, and after the consistent upload of music time and time again, he finally got his big break in 2016 when he released the song Diles, which blew up in a week, gaining over 1 million views in a week. Now this is a time during SoundCloud where getting anything over 100k in a week was big, as the platform was still very new and artists were still exploring and putting out music on a daily basis. The song Diles by Bad Bunny features Ozuna, Farruko, Archangel, and Nenjo Flow, and has garnered over 50 million views on SoundCloud and over 900 million views on YouTube at the time of this recording. The blowing up of this song extended his audience and grew his underground rap career even more. After the success of the song, Bad Bunny has reached out to multiple people in the industry and ultimately signed with DJ Luyan to his label Hear This Music in 2016. Now Bad Bunny took a lot of pride in being a Puerto Rican artist who rapped only in Spanish and didn't compromise his roots or his lifestyle for commercial success. Now there's a bit of a history lesson regarding the Americans and the Puerto Ricans relationship. Now Puerto Ricans were not considered US citizens until 1917, and this was only because they served in World War I. They were only considered US citizens because they willingly risked their life to fight for a country that did not support them. As Puerto Rico is an island, but also US territory, they were taken advantage of and were not allowed to vote in the US presidential election. So the citizens on the island itself were always poorly treated compared to the lifestyles of the American people living in the United States of America. They also had a gag law in the 1940s which prevented Puerto Ricans from repping and displaying their own flags in their city. The oppression of Puerto Rican citizens in America is the reason why Bad Bunny is so grounded in his roots. After a long history of them being mistreated, used for their economy, and basically belittled by the US government, he takes pride in him being a self-made Latin America artist from Puerto Rico, repping his roots in Spanish and not English. When it comes to the streaming numbers, Bad Bunny's up there with some of the greatest artists of all time, regardless of musical genre. He is the 7th most streamed artist on Spotify with 62 million monthly listeners, with a select few ahead of him, such as Drake with the 6th most monthly streamed listeners, Dua Lipa with the 5th most, Harry Styles with the 4th, Justin Bieber with the 3rd, The Weeknd with the 2nd, and of course Ed Sheeran with number 1 with 80 million views. A lot of people talk about streaming farms, how artists fake their stream, but when you have this much monthly listen, there's so much organic reach that is proven. Now Bad Bunny had several projects that got him to this point in his career. In 2018, he released his debut album X100 PRE, which translates to Forever in English. Now this is his first project that sold over 30k sales, and he followed it by releasing Oasis, which is a joint album with the Colombian artist J Balvin, who's known worldwide. Now the third album he released was in 2020, YHLQ MDLG, and this is basically says I do whatever I want in English, and this kind of says a lot about his character because he does a lot of stuff that people don't really think is normal, as well as he dresses up as a drag queen, he wears lipstick, he paints his nails. He does a lot of stuff that are viewed as homophobic and transphobic, and it kind of is weird to like the American and North American audience, considering all these stuff are basically being more accepted by people nowadays, but it still wasn't, as acceptable when he first came out with it. The album Las Cuno Iban a Salir was the second album released in 2020. This album was filled with songs that didn't make it onto the first album released in 2020, I Do Whatever I Want. But he previewed these songs on social media and they were requested by the fans, so he made a second album and released them. Therefore, the translation of this new album is called The Ones That Weren't Coming Out, because he didn't plan on releasing them. There are a couple more projects in his hip-hop catalog, such as El Ultimo Tour del Mundo, which released in the end of 2020, meaning the last tour of the world. Now his most recent project was Un Verano Sin Te, meaning a summer without you, and this sold over 100k sales in the first week. And he continues to sell 100k sales each week, every week after release, placing him in the top 10 of the Billboard 200. The growth of Bad Bunny during the 6-year span of 2016 to 2022 has been nothing short of inspirational to the youth in neighboring Latino communities. His album sales from his debut album Forever to his most recent album A Summer Without You has increased exponentially every year. Bad Bunny has worked with many talented artists during his career, such as J Balvin on their joint album Oasis, also working with Jennifer Lopez on the song Te Guste, working with American rapper Cardi B on the song I Like It, featuring J Balvin as well as the Six God Drake himself on the song MIA. The whole genre of reggaeton and trap Latin music was always sort of interesting to me, as the basis of the song are dancehall, which are familiar with my Caribbean roots. Bad Bunny's latest album, Un Verano Sin Te, released in May of 2022, and sold over 100k sales in the first week and spent the last consecutive weeks ever since it's been released on the top charts of the Billboard 200. Now, regardless if this is your favorite artist or not, you gotta respect the work ethic and accolades achieved by Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny won the Best Latin and Pop Urban Album, winning a Grammys without singing a single word in English, only Spanish. He broke a barrier that most people didn't even see the point of breaking, all while remaining humble and doing numbers. Whenever you see or hear about Latino music, Bad Bunny is always part of this conversation. At the end of the year, we can expect to see him in the top artist category on Spotify or Apple Music, as the influence is very powerful right now. The achievements of Bad Bunny in the Latino hip-hop game is unparalleled right now, and it should be recognized and appreciated. With that being said, man, subscribe if you got to the end of the video, leave a comment you want to see next. Jared the Star, I'm gone.